Let's have a look at the world #1 Islands team then, who I've got a video already in the feed the other day, which just demonstrated what a settled place they're in. I also predicted what I thought the Ireland 33-man squad will be. What do we learn from the side that is going to take on Italy, which Andy Farrell has named? I've called this video the Maybe Men because that's what it looks like to me, doesn't it? All of the people who are still in with a shot of maybe getting a squad spot are being given an opportunity in this lineup, which looks very much, with a few exceptions, like a backup side, doesn't it? With when you look down those names, there's only a couple of guys that you would think would be in a first choice team if everyone was available and fit for a big game against Scotland or South Africa, let's say. And the people that are in those positions, and I'll come on to this, the people that are in those positions where you would imagine they'd be a starter, they're playing in a slightly different position to the one that you normally see them. So let's look at this. As we look at this, the things I find interesting with this Ireland squad, and please do leave your comments, tell me what you think. Rob Herring and Tom Stewart are the two hookers in this squad. When I say the Maybe Men, as the name for this video, one spot for the third choice hooker, what does that tell us about the fact that Rob Herring has been favoured above Tom Stewart in the starting 15? Does that mean he is above him in the pecking order? Or does it mean Tom Stewart is favoured because he's on the bench alongside Tadhg Furlong, who would be an automatic first choice, you would think? Same goes with Jack Crowley ahead of Kieran Frawley. Exactly the same question. Jack Crowley being ahead in the pecking order. I think both Rob Herring and Jack Crowley, that means they are the third choice in their position, with an opportunity for Frawley and Stewart to upset things there and change Andy Farrell's mind. On the wings, Earls and Stockers, it's like it's 2018 all over again, isn't it? I don't think there's a space in the squad for both of them. This could be a direct shootout. Stockdale, Earls, go and earn your spot. And Prendergast ahead of Coombs on the bench as a second and slash back row player. That looks like it could be instructive, that Prendergast is ahead of Coombs in the pecking order, and maybe Coombs misses out entirely. So this whole team is second or third choice in most cases, except for a couple of interesting names on there. Robbie Henshaw, Caelan Doris. Both of those guys are playing in another position. So if something happens during the World Cup to Josh van der Fleer, you would imagine Caelan Doris will end up wearing the 7 jersey. Get him some minutes now. Same goes. Something happens to Gary Ringrose. Shift Robbie Henshaw out one. Let's give him a go now. Same goes with Jimmy O'Brien. He might operate most on the wings, you would feel. If something happens to Hugo Keenan, Jimmy O'Brien is your backup fullback. Give him game minutes now in this game. So it seems like, and Ryan Baird is another one. Predominantly a lock, but if needed, could be slotted on at blindside. So I think this is quite a smart, shrewd selection from Andy Farrell. We expect no different. And also, I think there's a few things we need to look at in terms of the players that aren't involved. And I think this is quite similar to what Steve Borthwick has done with England. And if you look at what Steve Borthwick did with England, I speculated in the last video in the channel that the guys that were not involved in the 23, just like Ireland here, were guaranteed nailed on starters in the majority of cases. And I think that is also the case. Because have a look, 23 men there. That means there's 19 guys left over in the Ireland squad, not involved on Saturday. And if you put those into a squad, it would look like this. And doesn't it look, for the most part, like a starting Ireland team for, say, a World Cup quarter-final? Sorry, I don't want to, let's not bring up World Cup quarter-finals until we're actually there. But for the most part, doesn't it look, all the guys not involved are absolute nailed-on starters or known quantities, or in the case of Jamie Osborne, still uncapped for Ireland. And I would say for Gavin Coombs, probably means, because they're not involved in this squad this weekend, probably means they're not going to make the cut. That would be my speculation. Finlay Bealham, not involved at tight head, but Tadhg Furlong in is interesting. However, I think the smart money is it doesn't take a great deal of changes. Or Kieran Treadwell would be the other one. I think the fact he's not involved, does that mean he's going to miss out on the squad? Possibly. And if we take those names out of it, it's only a few changes you have to make. 4. And those guys, Henshaw and Caelan Doris, are involved in other positions in the game this weekend. It's not a lot of changes, and you can kind of see what Andy Farrell might be up to here with his selection for this game against Italy. Pit players against each other: Stewart, Herring, Stockdale, Earls. Give guys the opportunity to go out there and earn their spot. Play players in alternative positions that they might be needed for, and keep your powder dry for England, who I expect to have a very tough time against probably a team not too dissimilar from this. Interesting. Have I got that right? Or am I, again, just like with England, wildly speculating and getting it completely wrong? Let me know. I'm sure you will in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers. If you haven't already, please do hit subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.